get into the issue that we all are excited about, interested in, and want to know more about, and that is Lyons Road. Lyons Road. Let's talk about Lyons Road. Again, this is a conversation. I have my coffee, and now that I've done my exercises, I feel ready to go. So, in this conversation, we're going to have our county engineers, and I'm going to introduce them, and they're going to be the ones who will be answering the questions. You don't need a politician to answer questions on engineering, because I'm a lawyer. The last person you want to answer questions engineering is somebody who's a lawyer. So we're going to hear from the engineers. I'm going to introduce our county engineers. I want you to know that because of Virginia Baker, we have the whole top of the office here from our county engineers. We also have our general contractor here, whom I will introduce, who is working on Lyons Road. And we have a representative from Florida Power and Light, which figures prominently in our work that we're doing on Lyons Road. And there's no one, I mean, this is it. This is the top of the notch. So, if I could introduce, and as I introduce you, if you could stand up, maybe come on over here. Would you like to come on over here and sit right over here? The first off the bat is David Ricks. David is our chief engineer at Palm Beach County, and standing next to him is going to be Joanne Keller, who's our deputy chief of engineers. We also have Albert. Come on up here, Albert. And Albert is our construction coordinator. And we have our growth development chief, Quasi Body. Also here from MJC Contracting is Tom and Mike. Come on up here, fellas. You're not on the spot, but this is where the rubber hits the road. Also here representing FP&L is Kate Cotner. Come on up here, Kate. Okay, now what we're going to do is we already have, we're collecting the questions. We already have one question that was presented. Len Tereski, are you here? Len, why don't you come on up, and how about if I give you the microphone? I want you to speak up real loud so everybody can hear you. You all will have an opportunity, but what we're going to do, we're going to write it down on these little pieces of paper, and then we'll give you an opportunity to ask this question. Go right ahead.
Thank you.
Tell us where you're from and your name.
My name is Len Tereski. I've been living in South Palm Beach County for more than 43 years, raised my family here, had my business here. Currently, I live at 7 Bridges, and every day that we exit, we're confronted with the horrendous, dangerous situation of Lyons Road. We need to have those roads immediately paved and removal of the barrels. This is not something that's going to continue. The estimated cars are $16,000 per day, and the season is coming, it's going to be increased. It's a dangerous situation where people are having accidents. I know of 3 personal friends of mine have had accidents, and it's dangerous, and we need MJC and whoever the contractor is to pave those roads and get those barrels gone. I'd just like to take a moment to thank Vice Mayor Maria Sachs and her staff, because she always listens, she always cares, and she always gets things done. She solves problems. Before she was an elected official, she served with me when I chaired the Florida Department Juvenile Justice Board and Together Against Gangs. She made a big difference. We corrected the education system in the juvenile facilities. We established a scholarship program where these kids could walk through the doors and be educated and get certification in computers, nursing, and other areas, and get out of life of crime. She gives the name of elected official the greatest importance that we all should have. And again, thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, I appreciate it. Everybody heard the question. Okay, now you're going to have an engineer, our deputy engineer, Joanne, answer the question.
Good morning, Joanne Keller with the Engineering and Public Works Department. We received the cost estimate for the additional work on Lyons to open those southbound lanes yesterday. We reviewed it. It is acceptable. We're going to move forward with the change order to start that work. And I wanted to pass this. Can you not hear me? Oh, sorry, I can't hear. Joanne Keller, Engineering Department. We received the cost estimate yesterday for the additional work on Lyons Road to open those southbound lanes. We agreed with the number. We're going to process the change order. And I'm going to pass the mic to the contractors here to answer the date on the question on the date.
You know, I'm Tom Castano with MJC Land Development.
Speak up really loud, right?
We are about as frustrated as you guys with Lyons Road. You see the barrels, they cost me money. So we're in the process now of finishing the south end of the bridge, which was a change order to us. We're starting that on Wednesday. Should have that done before Thanksgiving. And then at that time, we're gonna go ahead and repave and open up the road from probably St. Mary's all the way to the light south of that bridge. It should happen right around the holiday season. That's our game plan. We want to get the barrels off as much as you guys want them out of there. So that's our dates right now. We're going to shoot for it.
And then David Ricks is going to answer the question on the signal timing.
So the signal
David,
time.
come on, right
Oh,
over
sorry.
and speak right into the mic, David.
So the signal timing brought to our concern, so we had staff come out yesterday, and we did redo the signal timing. And so we'll get some more feedback in terms of how this new timing works for you. Still got some challenge, we'll bring staff back out again to adjust the signal timing again. But we adjusted as of end of day yesterday to adjust the timing based upon these concerns.
Question, please.
No, we're gonna do, wait just 1 second. Otherwise, we're gonna be here all day, and we just did our Tai Chi. So if you have, do you have a question about the signal light?
Yeah, what's happening on Atlantic because of the signal? Somebody took it upon themselves the other day to get out and move the barrel so that they could have a left turn lane. And so people were shooting into the left turn lane, avoiding your barrels, and people were trying to go from the proper lane, and I was watching people almost smashing each other, and you don't have anybody out there monitoring that turn lane. So it's a nightmare.
Okay. We're gonna look, did everybody hear the question? No. Okay. It's with regard to moving the barrels so that people can get out faster and in an unsafe way. So we're gonna see up here what that looks like. Folks, we don't like those barrels either, but we have to, by law, have them there for safety. They're gonna be moved as soon as we can get the lanes safely. So go right ahead, Joanne. Explain it.
We were out there on site this week and we did notice some of those illegal maneuvers happening. We have staff in the field right now installing posts that are not easily movable. So we're hoping that that will prevent the illegal maneuvers that have been happening. This is, the picture I have on the screen is Joseph's, just south of Atlantic Avenue on Lyons Road.
Why is the turn lane blocked? Going west on Atlantic, trying to turn left on Lyons, why is the inside lane blocked? I've had conversations with Jack Robinson, with Patrick Aiello, and with someone named Tammy Lee of the Emergency Action Center, misnamed. No one has any explanations. Tammy Lee was telling me, let's cross our fingers and hope everything works out. That's not responsible governing.
There is,
Hi, Albert Hoffman. I'm Director of the Construction Coordination Division. And to answer your question, there's only one from your, westbound left turn lane to go south on Lyons. That's what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. There's only one entry. There's only one lane there. So if we have two open turn lanes, they're going to bind up trying to enter a single lane once they enter on Lyons Road.
Make it for U-turns then to go back to Joseph's and into the shopping center. That's what that left lane should be. It should just be a sign for U-turns. Because if that's where the danger's coming in from the right side lane, people who want to go around and then you have it being cut off. It's very unsafe. So make the left lane U-turns only.
We can't do that. That's going against the MUTCD, which is the governing documents throughout the nation of MOT, the maintenance of traffic. We have the left lane closed for safety. I can't help if someone gets out there and moves some barrels and decides they want to get in there and break the law. I can't control that. What I can control, and what the contractor does as well, they're out there monitoring the MOT, and if the barrel gets displaced, They're out there several times a day. The barrels get displaced, they move them, they put them back where they're supposed to be, and we go on about the business.
How many times are you out there, folks, working on this issue?
We're out there twice a day.
Twice a day. What times?
Usually in the morning and then towards the evening.
All right, in the morning, and how many men do you have out there?
It's a few guys. We just bring a small crew out there to realign.
Okay. What is holding everything up? Can you explain to us why we're waiting so long on getting this road done? Who can explain that? I'd like to have a contractor. Come on up here, Jim. Come on up. Would you tell everybody, you know, I live off of Clintmore Road. I go on Lyons Road every day. And it's unsafe. And I don't want to take your name in vain.
It's Tom.
But Tom, what is the problem? We did Clintmore Road quickly. What is the problem working on Lyons Road?
Well, we ran across a lot of issues out there with underground utilities that were not put on the plans. So every time you do that, you have to stop, get a redesign, come up with a game plan, and start over again. So at the intersection, the DOT had a permit that they were issuing to Palm Beach County for the signalization. So right now, the signalization, the county is looking at putting temporary signals up while we're waiting for our material. And as you all know, there was COVID, and when this job went out to bid, we had a COVID issue, which shut down pretty much the whole world. And trying to get materials now was tough. It's still tough. We're still waiting for some stuff on different projects for over a year. So that all takes time. We want to get off this job. Every day we're out there, we lose money. Everybody thinks the contractor's out there making a boatload of money. We're not. Every day we lose money. Every day those barricades cost me money. We want to get off quicker than you guys want us off. So that's the issue out there. So as soon as we get the signalization in, we can open it up. With the county's help, we'll do temporary. That way we can get in that intersection. We can put the curbs in. We can get everything opened up to where it's going to be. Then when the permanent signalization comes in, we will install it.
What? Now, the signalization has to be done with FP&L. You know what signalization is? I didn't know what it was. It's the signal lights, intersection lights. And when you go there now on Lyons and Atlantic, there's FP&L posts there. They've been there for a while. Let's not forget, Lyons was one lane up and one lane back. And then we developed thousands of people living there, and they want to be able to get in and out. I know, I'm there. So we are reconstructing a road that was there for many, many years with underground pipes. Do you think folks there have Comcast? Do they have internet? They sure do. And every one of those lines have to be moved carefully and safely. So what I did is I brought a representative from Florida Power and Light, because every one of those FP&L lines have to be moved. And the reason this is a big mess, I'll tell you at the end of this. So, Kate, why don't you come on up here and tell us. Kate is a representative from FP&L, and thank you. Would you tell us what is the issue with moving FP&L posts there on Atlantic and Lyons?
Sure, my pleasure. So, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Is like close enough? Great. So, as the Vice Mayor said, I'm Kate Kottner with Florida Power and Light. So one, I want to make sure I go ahead and amend something that's on this slide because it's as recent as yesterday. So we are no longer designing or redesigning, we have it approved. So one of the things that there was a delay was because we needed to get an approval to be in the Lake Worth Water Management District's right of way. We had gone ahead and we designed the project. Unfortunately, we had interfered with something that, as far as their ingress egress, so we had to redesign it. It was approved yesterday. So at this point in time, I think the next step is the county and FGL are going to go on site and have a meeting. And then we'll get the construction crews, our crews out there to go ahead and relocate these lines. So it is moving along very quickly from our end. We have all the approvals that we need. So I wanted to make sure everyone had that update.
Do you have a timeline?
So I asked for a timeline this morning. I do not have a timeline right now, but again, now that it's in our court where we have to go ahead and just have our crews out there, I can tell you that it is the top priority. So I have everyone working on this to make sure that this is a priority project. I wish I could tell you it's next week, but I can't tell you that right now. But again, I can tell you we're all looking at this to make sure it happens very quickly so that then the county can continue doing their part.
So is the plan to move what is highlighted in orange, an overhead light? Is that all?
And there's 3 poles in all. So full disclosure, I am not the engineer on this project, but I spoke to them for many, many hours at this point. So there's 3 poles that we're gonna be relocating. When that light is taken off, there'll be a temporary light that's put back up so that it's still a safety issue that we'll have a light there. I don't know if that's where you're going with your question, but
Well, it seems to me the only impediment for a right turn lane going south on Lyons is an overhead light and a telephone pole. Those mastheads are perfectly situated. Now, again, from my conversations with members of the road construction crew, no one had explanations as to why these mastheads are inadequate. They seem perfectly fine. So just move the light and move the telephone pole, and we can have a right turn lane going south on Lyons.
Everybody hear his question? You know, I wish we could just go on Amazon and order lights, order signals, intersection lights. But our federal government, the Department of Transportation, has given us very strict rules for every 50 states. Every 50 states has to have the same type of intersection lights. And that is the way the government is, the federal government. So we are following those federal regulations, and we have to do it specifically for that area that is consistent with federal standards. I wish if I were queen of the country, we could order it on Amazon and put them up, but we can't. So we're doing the best we can. We have a question here about the debris. Al, could you read the question and who wrote it?
It looks like Pam Frolik, maybe I'm mispronouncing that and I apologize. Pam wants to know about the pile of debris on Lyons and Linton. And the pile of debris, it might look like debris for people that are driving by, but it's MOT devices, spare MOT devices. There's road close signs. There's the delineators that were previously installed. If you traveled Lyons before construction, you knew there was a road, yellow delineators on the approach to Atlantic, northbound approach. And those are getting reinstalled because the people making illegal left turns out of Joseph Market. But all of that was stored there. And it's where the contractor puts all of their spare parts and pieces, and that will remain while we're under construction. But after construction, it'll go.
What happens if the Category 5 decides to turn our way? We have projectiles flying all over Lyons Road.
Yeah, they'll be removed.
Oh, really?
Yes,
And down by the bridge, the pile that's there too of debris?
yes.
Great. How hard is it to take it away now? The one by the bridge?
They got pending work that's gonna be going on south of the bridge. Some of that stuff was removed, like it's the old guardrail and stuff like that. If it can be reused, they're going to reuse it. But if it's garbage or debris,
It's garbage.
we can get rid of it, right? Okay.
Great.
Thanks, Al. All right, this is a continuing conversation. A couple of months, we'll look at it again. We have another question and answer. Joanne, would you read the question and who wrote it?
Sure. We have 2 questions from Gene Epstein. The first one was, what's the time frame to finish Lyons in this widening? And at this point, because the signal work can finally go forward with the temporary signal, we're estimating the end of spring 2024 for that project to be complete. And the second question is, when do we expect to open the Flavor Pick extension from State Road 7 to Lyons? As many of you know, that's currently under construction, and we are expecting that to be completed in January 2024.
Okay, thank you. Read the question and who wrote it.
Good morning, my name is Quasi Bari. I'm the manager of the growth management section in the traffic division. The question from Mr. Thomas Boyle is, where is the land coming from to widen Lyons Road from Atlantic Avenue to Boynton Beach Boulevard? The right-of-way is already there. So whenever any project comes in on a road, our first condition is to dedicate right-of-way as per the thoroughfare right-of-way identification map. We have a map where it says how much right-of-way is needed for that project. So if any project comes in along that road, we give them a condition to dedicate right-of-way for that road. So the right-of-way for Lyons Road was dedicated according to the thoroughfare right-of-way identification map.
Actually, what I was asking was, is the land coming from the island on the left or the HOA egress-ingress lanes on the right?
It's actually from both sides, because we have developments on both sides.
But there'll still be an island in the middle.
Yeah, correct. It will be a divided road.
So you're going to narrow the island in the middle, and then take some from both sides.
I'm not,
Right now it's under design, we're actually going to take some from basically both sides of the roadway and also the island.
Thanks,
thank you.
okay? Does that answer, sir?
Can I just ask a follow-up question?
Sure, come on.
I'm sorry, I'm out.
No, that's all right.
It's my understanding that when properties, like GL Properties, builds on Lyons Road or on 441, that they contribute funds to the roadway, whether it be the island of the trees or the land. Is that true, or is that a myth? Using GL Homes as a specific builder.
Can you repeat that, please?
Sure. My understanding was that when, say, GL Homes as a home, as a company, is building on the main roads, like Lyons Road or 441, they contribute funds to the development of the area. Is that true, or is that a myth?
Hi, we have a county policy that anytime a project is developed along one of our major thoroughfares that is within the landscape median area, the developer is required to contribute to landscape those medians.
So to answer this gentleman's question, that land that he's talking about, median, might really be coming from GL as a give back.
No, what Quasi was saying to answer the first question is we don't need any additional land at this point. We might need additional space into the median to widen the roads, but no additional right-of-way.
That's a very good question. We have a GL representative here, but we also have our county administrator here. So I'd like for her to answer, because that is an extremely important question today. Did everybody hear his question? Okay, sorry, you need to stand up, and I know you've got a good voice, so speak up.
I asked the question about GL Homes because GL is a major developer in our area, specifically along Lyons Road between Boca and Boynton Beach, correct? And my understanding, I want to make sure I'm right about this, is that GL or any builder will contribute funds to the development of the road if need be to improve. For instance, if there's a school, if there's a median, if there's trees that are being planted on the road, et cetera, et cetera. And I just wanted to find out if that's a fact or if that's a myth.
Hi, I'm Virginia Baker. I'm your county administrator, and prior to that, I was the impact fee coordinator. So, give you a little history on that. Yes, when developer comes in, the board approves their project, we determine what their impact is going to be on the area. And currently, they have to pay their proportionate share into a fund, and that's our state legislators. Prior to that change, which I think occurred in 2010, 2011, prior to that, when a developer wanted to build, and they wanted to build faster than we could put infrastructure in at the county level, they actually had to go in and do the infrastructure improvement themselves. And so GL did do a lot of roads within the ag reserve. But today, any new development coming in, they pay their proportionate share. It goes into a fund until we have enough funding in order to do the improvements. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
I know. Who's the person who wrote that? I would know. Okay. Thanks, Ms. Baker. Okay, that answered your question. This is what this is about, folks. This isn't a town hall where I'm up here talking to you all the time. This is a conversation between you and your county staff. And I'm telling you right now, I hope nothing happens out there on our roads. because we got everybody here, top-notch people, all right? So hopefully there won't be an accident, and God willing, we won't have any, you know, that thing that they call that's outside on the Atlantic Ocean is not gonna hit us. So this is a conversation, and I'm trying to be and I appreciate your respectfulness, by the way. I know you are respectful. So I have one other, if you want to ask a question, the fastest way, you see this lady in pink walking around, give her the piece of paper, hand it to her, and it'll be good. When is Sims Road extension going to occur? The Sims Road extension. Okay? Okay. She's going to check, and we're going to get an answer to that. Anybody else? Al, do you have a question there then? Okay. All right. We got a couple more questions here. If you want me to, and I would like to have your name on them. Okay, good. These are some of these I'm going to answer later, but these are the ones I want. Okay, good. Here's one. Thomas Boyle, Valencia Sound. When will the bridge, sidewalk, and lights be finished on Flavor Pick Road, just west of Lyons Road?
Estimated right now, January of 2024 for completion of Flavor Pick. And that's all the way through. You'll be able to walk on the sidewalk, ride your bike, all that good stuff.
So you'll have sidewalk and street lights there?
There's going to be, there's no street light at State Road 7, but there is a bridge and a connector. Now, State Road 7 is FDOT right away. They may in the future decide to have a signalized intersection there, but right now there's no plans for it.
So there's no lights on Flavor?
Correct, at this point there is not.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have someone from Timbers of Boca, Jeanette. And Jeanette, where I can't pronounce your last name, Jeanette. Hi, Camancia. That's pretty close. Now, Lyons Road doesn't just connect between Clintmore and Atlantic, where many of us live, including myself. There's also Lyons Road that goes over to West Boca, where Timbers and Escondido is. And this is something that we have been working on for quite a while. And those folks have been very, very patient out there. So one of the issues was, how do you slow folks down when they go around that curve? You know, it's like Dead Man's Curve years ago with Jan and Dee. When everybody sees a curve, all of a sudden the kids want to speed up, and that has caused accidents, injuries, and yes, even death. So one of the proposals was to put these, what are they called?
Rumble strips.
Rumble strips. Rumble strips. I never heard of them before, but I know what they are. So, Joanne, could you come over, or David? All right, David's going to tell you about the rumble strips and what they are and when they're going in. Go ahead, David.
Okay. Rumble strips are markers on the side of the roadway. As you drive over, you feel the car bump up and down a little bit, and it gives an indication that you need to slow down. And so we're going to start installing those starting next week, both sides of the roadway there. The other question came up, said, well, we need to have one of those feedback signs, those that tells you how fast you're going. And so my staff worked closely with the sheriff's office, and they actually installed a temporary feedback sign out there already. Thank you for the sheriff in terms of doing that. And then we have on order to put a permanent with solar powered feedback sign. It takes a while, about 8 weeks, and so we'll have a permanent installation of a speed feedback sign within 8 weeks after we get the stuff on. It's on order, it would be 8 weeks. So you talk about end of October, early November to get the permanent installation. But the rumble strips will start next week. Now, if cars drive over it, you'll hear noise. And so be aware that people who live around there, that you'll hear that noise, and hopefully people will start slowing down because of that. Yes.
David, when are the rumble strips going in? Tell me a date.
Next week.
Monday.
Yes.
Monday, okay?
Yes.
Monday, the rumble strips. When are we going to get that sign that tells people, a solar powered sign that tells people how fast they're going? Next week we're having a temporary.
Temporary's in right now.
Right now, there's a temporary in one. We have ordered that, the permanent one, and that's coming in. So right now, Monday the rumble strips.
Correct.
And right now we have the solar powered sign.
That temporary one was taken away a couple of weeks ago.
No,
It's in today.
It's in today.
in today.
Maria?
Okay, Fred.
Maria, are rumble strips in use anywhere else in Palm Beach County to lower speeds? I've only
Hold
seen
on,
them
Al.
when you approach toll booths. I've seen them on the interstates. But are they ever in use in Palm Beach County? And could it possibly contribute to accidents by people skidding or what can you tell us about that?
No, it's not going to contribute to an accident. So I mean, David basically told you what rumble strips are. And to the first answer question, yes, they are. And they're on interstates typically. For instance, if you're driving along the turnpike, I'm sure everyone has. If you look to the left, if you're in the fast lane, you look to the left and you see the little packs of 3 things on the side and you veer off and it goes, that's the rumble strip. It's the same thing that's going in this area here. And that's stable at 80 miles an hour on the turnpike. It'll be perfectly stable at a lower speed through this curve.
Thanks, Fred. Okay, we have another question that's going to be answered by our Executive Assistant County Administrator, Patrick Rudder. You know, the whole county is here, by the way. Go ahead, Patrick. Give us the question and the answer. He just checked up on this right now.
Good morning, everybody. The question was Firehouse in Valencia Sound, turn it upside down, supposed to be operational in September. The question was, is that on path to be complete? The answer is yes. Just got an email from our facilities department, just had communication with the contractor. They're finishing up utility work, inspections, things of that sort. Everything is on schedule for September opening by the temporary station, barring anything unforeseen. But we are on path to do that. It will be open in September. This year, September this year. They're wrapping up right now. I don't have the exact date. We're September 8th. So they're finishing utility work right now, testing the utilities, installing the landscaping, etc. So the last stages of having the facility ready are going on right now on schedule for September opening this month.
That's where you got the information.
And that came from our facilities department in communication with our contractor who's working at it. They were actually emailing each other and checking things out this morning. So before that question even came in, they were already working on it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Patrick. We have another question that's going to be asked and answered by Joanne, our Deputy Chief Engineer.
There's no name on this question, but I assume that the Sims Road extension, when is it going to be built? I have to assume it's the Sims Road missing link south of Atlantic. We have that under design now, and our current 5-year road program shows construction funding in '26, and once it starts, we'd expect it to be completed by fiscal year '28.
If you wait long enough, we'll have all these roads done, right? I tell you, it never ends. You know, but I got to say something. You know, I was born in Detroit. I grew up in LA. More roads we build, the more congestion there is. I go with my husband to Queens, where he's from, Queens, New York, and the biggest discussion in the morning is how are they going to get to work? What road they're going to take, what time is it, what day of the week it is. Our lives are being completely run by traffic congestion. And so this next question is good. Also, ladies and gentlemen, this county, your county commissioner, me, I believe in connectivity. I believe in getting us off the roads. If I don't have to drive to Publix, drive to the nail salon, as you can see I haven't been in a while, drive anywhere, I'd be very happy if I could take a bike or an electric vehicle. And you know I really believe in that. So we need to build developments that foster that. It's not your fault. We're all citizens. But let's make sure that government, make sure that the developers build buildings, housing, retail, and commercial, so we don't have to get out of our cars. We have to get in our cars and drive everywhere, because it's not going to get any better. Probably by the time we're finished, I don't want to say by the time we're finished, we got to start over again, so let's not go there. But this is a good question. It's by Tammy McDonald about our bike lanes being included on all road development and extensions. I am so for a segregated bike lanes that will protect our bicyclists from vehicles and trucks, and any kind of electric scooters or any kind of electric vehicles. Not Teslas, of course, but any type of vehicle that will be able to take us from A to B without having to get on the roads. So I've been pushing this with FDOT, and I am hoping that we will have large bicycle lanes that will be able to go from A to B. Are there any other outstanding questions over here from my engineers? What's that? Okay, when will Atlantic Avenue be widened between the Turnpike and 441?
So Atlantic Avenue is a DOT roadway, and so they've got the project 2 phases scheduled. In FY24, which is starting actually this year, they're going to add a lane going from State Road 7 to Lyons Road, and then the other section in FY27 adding lanes from Lyons Road to the Turnpike. So 2024, actually, hopefully it should be out for bid. They're going to add a lane going from State Road 7 to Lyons Road to widen that area. And at the Lyons and Atlantic, that's why we got to put this temporary signal in, because based upon the DOT project, they were widening that intersection, and so we had to change our design to meet the DOT design. And so that's why the conversation of P&L, to make sure we all coordinated, that when it's all said and done, we have a great project. But they're on board to do that right now, FY24, to widen Atlantic from State Road 7 to Lyons, and then 3 years later after that, from Lyons to the Turnpike.
Thank you. We have one other question. Patrick Rudder, why don't you come over here and do the question, and do we have a name on that? Okay, good. We have a question and a writer and the answer.
All right, again, this question is from Eileen, and I hope I pronounce your last name correctly, Holber. Question is, when developers build a community, why can't they put in more trees, like native Florida trees that give shade to the earth, rather than the skinny palm trees and other tiny little trees that give no shade at all? The answer is there are requirements for certain percentages of native trees and larger trees to be put in. It's not 100% of them, and there are equivalencies that developers can take advantage of to do that. It has been a discussion point with boards, whether it's this board or boards in the past on that point. Modifications have been made to landscaping code. Could the board take it up again? Absolutely. It's been brought up at points, but everything that's built today does meet the code requirements. They are doing what they are supposed to do.
Very good. Thank you. Jeanette, I think this is another one from you. Timbers?
Yes.
There's street lights that are not functional on the west side of Lyons along the Timbers property? Okay. We have FP&L here, and Kate, come on over here. Kate is going to find out today. And if they're not functional, we're going to get them fixed. Are you paying your FP&L bill? No,
Unfortunately, yes.
yes, unfortunately, right. So, Kate, and thank you. Is this your Yahoo email?
Yes.
Okay, Kate is going to respond to you when she gets back to the big FP&L office and respond directly to you. Will you call me and let me know it's done? Okay. If anybody has any issues with lights of FP&L, let me know. Let me know. I am in discussion with this company about burying our power lines. I don't know about you, but with the hurricanes and the storms intensifying in wind velocity, this one outside of the Atlantic is like category 5. One of the biggest dangers we have is our power lines. So if we could get them buried, it would be a lot safer. Because I think this is something that's going to be continuing. This is something that we're going to have to get used to and be prepared for. And not just for power outages, but also for fires that can occur when those power lines go down. Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions outstanding? Okay, Dave.
First, there's been a couple questions that came up to me asking about the Delray Marketplace. about a light on the exit on Lyons Road. We've been in constant contact with the developer, and actually, late yesterday morning, myself and my staff, we talked to the developer, and they're committed to install the light. We put that in writing. They're going to start the design process to do that. So based upon all that conversation yesterday, probably about a year from now, we'll hopefully get a light at that location. But this is huge in terms of getting the actual developer, Kite Realty, to commit to putting that, because the light's been warranted over several years. We just had to get the developer on board to push it to make it happen. And so that is, and we actually confirmed that in writing, and the Vice Mayor has a copy of that letter. Then we got a question from Mr. Godfrey. Your question was, DOT reps here. And I'll ask the Vice Mayor about that, if you want to know what DOT reps is here.
I'm having a little discussion with FDOT. I want them to coordinate a little bit more with our county. You see, things I didn't know, there are some roads that are county and some roads that are state. Some roads are city and some roads are private. So we're county, Lyons Road is county. Atlantic is state. It is state. And they work on their own time, depending on their budget from the legislature. So it's, we're trying to coordinate with them. I have made a serious request to have segregated bike lanes on Atlantic Avenue, and we'll see if they'll do it. But it's tough to coordinate with them on everything. So if you know your state legislator, make sure they're going up in January. Make sure they get money for our roads, state roads here in the state of in Palm Beach County. And let me tell you, Atlantic Avenue is beautiful. It goes all the way from the park, west to 441, all the way to the beach. There's no other road that I know here in Palm Beach, in South Palm Beach, that does that. Palmetto does it, and neither does Glades. So we have this beautiful Atlantic Avenue that will take us all the way to the beach and all the way west to the park. We just want to make sure that it's done properly and with safety in mind. And here's one other question, then we're going to close out with Joanne. She's going to show us some pictures. From Gene Epstein, when will Linton Road extend to Lyons and help alleviate east-west congestion from Atlantic Avenue? How many of you know Linton? We all know Linton Road. It stops, doesn't it? I didn't do that. If it didn't stop, it would probably go right through a community. So Linton Road is not going anywhere. We're going to clean it up as it comes out onto Atlantic Avenue, but it will never go through all the way because there's a community that was built there. So I don't think they would like it if we put Linton Road through there. But we're going to do the best we can. We have Joanne, our Deputy Chief Engineer, who has a question and answer, and then she's going to show you a slide.
Actually, I wanted to say thank you for the opportunity for all of us to be here today. There's probably 20 more questions that are not answered. So I wanted to see if I could take those back to our office to try and answer them individually. And also, if there's questions that you didn't ask today, I have the slide up there on the screen with our phone number and our email address. We will personally respond to anyone that asks any information. We're happy to get back with you. So I apologize we can't get through all of the cards today, but thank you for the chance to let us come out here and speak.
Let's hear it for our engineers. Thank you so much. David, Albert, and our contractors. You know, look, how many times do you ever see contractors come out and face you? Okay? These guys, and you're telling me that the guys are out there, or gals, we have women working on the road, twice a day. Okay. We may want to bring them coffee and donuts. And the debris will be picked up in case we get into a storm situation.
Absolutely.
Okay. And Kate from FP&L, you know, these are major folks from our county government and from FP&L and the general contractor. We're going to work together to make sure that Lyons Road is done. It's done safely and it's done properly. And then we're not going to touch it again, okay? No more widening of that road, all right, folks? So, if there's any other questions, I see a gentleman. Yes, sir.
David Shilson, Valencia Reserve. I have one of the questions that were in the back, but I think since we have the group here, fiscal year 2023 is where the money opened up for the expanding Lyons Road from Boynton Beach to Flavor Pick. And I know an outside design firm is involved in completing the design plans. And I'm just curious, or maybe we could get some background, why is there a delay in completing the design for the expansion? Staff looked at it internally for several years ago. If you could just give us an overview, because it doesn't look like what was supposed to start in early 2024 is really going to happen.
We have somebody who's working on that project. Oh, Dave. There you go.
So part of that design is looking at the, in terms of the medians or the actual right or left, both sides of that road, but now we go into the HOA turn lanes, and so we had multiple conversations. So the design is underway, and so we're going to proceed as fast as we can. And so once we get probably about 70 to 80%, we'll have some engagement sessions with the community. Okay, I'll let you take a look at the project, and then once that's done, then we'll put it out for bid. But you're correct, it does take a while. But getting a design on board, it takes about 9 months to select the firm and then get the contract to the board to approval. Then we start the design process. I wish it could be faster, but that's our process. But we're underway from a design standpoint, and when we get to about 78%, we will definitely have a community engagement session with the vice mayor to give you an update on that project.
Mr. Rich,
yes.
That is true then. The odds are you're really not going to get to construction in 2024, certainly in the first half. At the rate, I mean, we're here in September 2023.
It probably not really.
So we were heading probably for 2025?
Well, probably late 2024. We're going to push as hard as we can. This is a major project. We'll make sure we do it right. Just like all the utility issues, I am personally, for every new project, before we go out for bid, we're going to verify all the utilities at the right location. Anything that's in the design agency, we put using ground penetrating radar to verify. The challenge is everyone's real busy, our utility companies, and the problem is that some of these drawing as-built are not in the right location. It's just the nature of where we at now.
No, don't go in. So, we're going to fast track that, Ms. Baker. We're going to fast track any of these requests and permitting through the county commission. So maybe we can look at this before the end of 2024 to have it all finished if everything is fast tracked for that, because they've been waiting on this for a while. Is that possible?
Well, for design, yes, and get it out for contracts, so that's what we're going to work as hard as we can.
When is the earliest that you can anticipate this project being on? Because every one of our communities touches Lyons Road. Okay? There's a tremendous amount of building out there. Between 2004 and 2020, Section 5 collected the most amount of impact fees in the entire county. Okay? That's all the GL, this is just transportation. This is from your report. This is the county's report. We collected the most amount of impact fees, but we did not get the most amount of impact fees back. We need signalization across from Canyon Springs, across from Canyon Isles. GL's new communities are going there. It's dangerous to make a right and go south on Lyons. It's dangerous to make a left and go north on Lyons out of Delray Marketplace. We made the call to Kite. We were on the phone all week to Kite to get them to call you guys to agree to put a light. So there's a lot of development happening in a very compact area on the north end of Lyons Road in Boynton. And between Lyons Road and Acme Dairy and Boynton Beach Boulevard, it's like the Bermuda Triangle. And yeah, we have utility problems, we have all this stuff, but these problems were created by men and women and they can be solved by men and women. But it can't be maybe a year or maybe this or that, because there's way too much development happening way too quickly. So it's a bottleneck now. You put a new commerce project on that was just approved, 314 housing units on Acme Dairy that was approved. GL finishes their building out on Lyons Road, and it's forget about bikes, it's going to be an unsafe situation for cars. So all the communities along Lyons Road, I'll speak for the ones in the Boynton area, I'm sure the Alliance would agree, we're all willing to sit down at a table, we've all had conversations about right-of-ways or this or that, but this needs to get moved up, because I don't think anybody has an accurate appreciation for how bad the traffic is out there. It's unsafe.
I
with you. And I used to have black hair. It's not that black anymore, okay? And I think some of you I kind of grew up with. So even before now, again, as I stated earlier, we used to have true traffic concurrency in this county prior to 2011. So a lot of this development would not have occurred, or it would have been phased until we put the proper infrastructure in place. Our legislators in Tallahassee changed the law in 2011. So a developer can come in if they get approval, identify their proportionate share, they pay that, and they move forward with complete building. There's nothing we can do about it because the law allows them to do it. We're very, very aware of the situation where this development is occurring. We look at our 5-year road program. We work with our commissioners. Last night during the budget hearing, I was directed to bring back a workshop, so we're going to be bringing back a workshop in November to talk about what should be priority, what do we move back and we move forward. Safety is first and prominent in our decisions and recommendations that we make to the board. So we're very conscious of that, but I cannot stand here and tell you exactly when something is going to be completed. Yes, you did raise significant impact fees in the last term. However, those are not enough to do what needs to be done. So we need other revenue to help complete that project based on the current law. Now, are we pushing back? Yes, we are pushing back. However, it takes the legislature to change the law again. And we're going to be talking to our developer friends because it doesn't help them either when they're still trying to sell development and people can't get in. They can't get out. Who's going to buy in there if they see that? So we're going to be working through that. We've had success in our county as far as working with developers and making sure that safety is first and foremost for all of our communities. And so they've been working with us as the law would allow them to work with us. So I hear you loud and clear. We're working on it. We've got our priorities. And again, part of it is just not revenue. It is also product. And when is it coming in? How long is it taking? We all know that we don't produce a whole lot in the United States anymore. Hopefully that's going to change, and we don't have to get it from all over the place. So hear you loud and clear. I'm just as frustrated as you. And I wish I could solve these problems so my hair would still be black or brown. But we're working on it, and we're doing the very best that we can do. And safety, again, is foremost.
There's a gentleman in blue. Sir, stand up.
The widening from Clintmore to the bridge, this L98 bridge, is that what they call it? To the bridge.
Right.
Went very quickly. I'm not sure, why was it decided not to keep going north in increments? It seemed like all of a sudden the bridge work stopped because the Atlantic Avenue intersection was having problems. Why? The bridge is ready to be linked. There are 2 lanes on the southbound side. Why can't the extra pavement be put on south to north? It's ready.
It's a good question. The question is and I'll see if I do it right. The question is the Lyons Road from Clintmore to the bridge has been done. Looks good. But then why didn't we continue the reconstruction in increments instead of going all the way across to Atlantic Avenue? And for that, I'm going to pass it to our construction manager, Al. Go right ahead.
So, I mean, it has been done in increments. So it was done, the portion in front of Valencia's Sound, Seven Bridges. That was done by the developer, GL Homes. Then we came through and did Clintmore to that portion where they left off. So that's the second portion. And this is the third portion. When the plans were drawn up, they were drawn up all together. We gave GL Homes the plans for the section that they built in front of the house, in front of the developments, and we executed the job south of there to Clintmore pre-COVID. I mean, we went through there and knocked it out pretty quick. So much so that the intersection didn't have as big of a modification as it does at Atlantic. So there was no mast arms that needed to get moved. There was no temporary signal that was necessary. Biggest hurdle, there was no weight on materials at that point, pre-COVID. The issue at Atlantic now is that we're waiting on materials, and judging from the contractor's order forms and invoices, we're looking like we're gonna get delivery of the mast arms sometime in December at Atlantic. You have a follow-up?
Yeah, but the bridge is ready to be tied in both north and south. And with pavement on the southbound, you could have that last merge up near the Orthodox Church. It could be 4 lanes that far north. I don't understand why it wasn't done south to north when it was ready, except for the bridge tie-in.
Fair question. They're doing that now. So that's the plan. We're gonna open it up from approximately 153rd, is that? Ish, 153rd around the church area. And the goal is to have it open all the way down, all the way through to Clintmore before the holidays. So they're starting construction next week on the southbound portion. Shouldn't take that long. They're milling out the old asphalt. They're gonna pave new asphalt. They got a little bit of water main work to do before the final lift of asphalt. That has to get done because we don't want to damage the final lift. Should have it all the way through before the holidays.
Jewish holidays or Christmas?
November holidays. Thanksgiving.
Okay, that's even better. Thank you. That was a good question. I'm going to get the lady. Go ahead.
The area between Atlantic and, say, the Bay, on Lyons Road, it's very, very dangerous there. There's no lights at night, and it's windy. And we're wondering, what about that area? Why did they skip over that area and go down to the other area? When driving that is taking your life in your
Okay,
hands.
this is a good question, and I saw that it was here too. The question is, we need lights at night especially along the particular areas on Lyons Road. Kate, how soon can we get FPNL to put those lights up? Will you be able to, come on up here, Kate. Will you be able to find out and then email us? I think what's happening with the lights is that we're digging up all the lines. We need to lay more lines down there, is that it? Okay. Rick, come on up here.
That section is basically, I think, is our next increment in terms of major widening. And our policy, county policy, that anything that's 2 lane, we don't put lights in. Anything that's 4 lanes is going to be lighted. So the section right now, we're under construction on Lyons. When that construction is all done, we'll have FPNL put lighting there. But anything that's 2 lane right now is not lighted for right now. So.
It's very windy.
Winding.
Yeah, we need it done.
Where's this going to be done? Mr. Rich, here's the issue.
Yes.
You just said Flavor Pick to Boynton Beach will not start probably until 2025. The next phase after that is Atlantic to Flavor Pick, which includes Valencia Bay. That's going to be if you start 2025, that might not be till 2028. Is there any way, and this I guess open it up, that there could be, the commission could authorize a temporary lighting be put in, because this is easily 5, 6, 7 years down the road before this lady's issue is going to be addressed with permanent lighting.
I like the
Could it be
idea.
done temporarily?
I like the idea. If you notice now on Clintmore Road, they're getting rid of those wooden FPNL posts and they're putting in cement. I am going to make I'm going to have this special request, and if you let me know how I can contact you, leave me your email address. I'll make a special request from the county commission to FPNL to put in temporary lights. Temporary lights, because we do need lighting. I drive that myself from Joseph's or from the Delray Marketplace at night, and you better be sober. Because You know, you gotta be really straight, because it's very, it's crooked and there's not a lot of light. Let's see if we can't put in temporary light. If you leave me your email address, you'll see a copy of my request to FP&L, and maybe they'll go ahead and do that. Okay, Kate? This gentleman over here, yes, sir. You gotta speak up.
On October 24th, there's going to be a big vote regarding the GL Homes Ag Reserve swap, of which the voters voted $150 million to preserve preservation, permanent preservation. They're thinking of now you voted for it, thank you so much, you voted against it. But other commissioners voted against it, for it. Now, one of the main issues for it is that they're going to, one of the sweetness, they're going to put a water reservoir. But our water expert from the Sierra Club states that the benefits are going to be very minimal. Has no studies been done to check what the benefits of that water reservoir, purported benefit, would be for the county?
This was a question about the ag reserve swap. Before we get there, I want to make sure that I'm going to release my engineers to get back to work. And then we'll get into the next topic. Are there any other questions about Lyons Road? I don't see any, but no. I see you in the back. Stand up, sir, if you can. No, I get it. You're not that. I was just teasing.
I have a question.
You're a doctor,
that has
right?
to do with the original work that was done. Okay? The question I have is, the gentleman came up and said that they didn't know there were underground utilities, et cetera, that they had to redo stuff. I don't understand. They've been in the business a long time. You get something, you don't see underground utilities, you know there's underground utilities. The doctor goes and operates on you, he goes, oh, look, you got arteries and nerves in there. I didn't know they'd be there. Okay? I would assume that somebody who's doing the job and has been hired to do the job knows what it is. So now we're all backed up here because nobody took a look at the original plan. I don't understand who was responsible for the plan, who's been talked about for that, and why it was done that way.
You know, did everybody hear it? What, you know, okay. Who remembers when Lyons Road was built? Is there anybody here who's been here? Okay. What were the years of Lyons? I sort of remember. What were the years, the original Lyons Road?
Like in the late 80s, early 90s.
Right. I moved here in '85. It was there. It was there. And Lyons Road, let's not forget, like Clintmore Road is named after the farmer. And how many of you remember when Clintmore stopped at the turnpike, veered right to the left, and then went down? Okay. Years ago, sir, when they built Lyons Road, they buried things there that, as long as they're not bodies, you know, we're still unearthing them. And in those days, that had to be the 60s or 70s, there's bean farms. I remember when there was a bean farm on Clintmore, and migrant workers on Clintmore Road, where we have country clubs. So let's not forget that all of this was all farming. And they buried it, sometimes they buried it themselves, the farmers. So we're just discovering this now. We're just discovering this now. And I'll tell you what, these guys are being very careful about it. They just discovered a gas line. So, and I know the general contractor talked to us about it. He said, I'm sorry, Commissioner, it's going to take a little bit long. We just found a gas line. So, do we just say, just go around it? No. We got to take it out. We got to make sure it fits all the American, the federal requirements before we rebury it or rebuild it. Yes, it's taken us a while, but let's not forget, we're building a road to service our beautiful communities built by GL and other developers, multi-million-dollar houses. This road has got to meet those standards. And as long as I'm here, that road will meet those standards. It will no longer, it's not a farmer's road anymore. It is going to be a top-class, beautiful, safe, fast road that will take us from A to B safely with lights and everything else. So this is a,
That it's different than when I build on my property, when they do it, they send somebody in that has to put these flags everywhere. to mark-
I'm gonna sign you up over here.
mark where the guard-
We could use you, doctor, because, you know, and anybody else who wants to help out, right here. Let us know your suggestions, you can help us out here. But I'm telling you right now, nothing goes on Lyons Road that's not 100% safe. And if I got kids, I got grandkids, I wanna make sure that road is gonna be safe. Fred?
Maria, since you're here such a long time, why is there an S-curve in Lyons Road at Escondido? Is there some geological reason where there are homes in it that were avoided? Who put that for slugging a S-curve there?
Be nice, Fred. From what I heard, because I wasn't in the county commission when that was built, from what I read, and I asked our Florida Department of Transportation secretary, FDOT made the county, and that was the days of Bert Aronson, made the county put that S-curve in because FDOT needed land. And so now when I go to FDOT, there's no land that we can take to make it, to make it safer. So, you get what you pay for, and this is what we have here. FDOT can't make it any broader, any straighter. That's a terrible curve there. So what we gotta do is make it safer. The rumble strips, the signs, I have PBSO here in the back, they're monitoring it all the time. And that's, what's that word in Yiddish?
Verschluggener.
Verschluggener. I'm learning, verschluggener.
It's related to Verkaufter.
Thanks to the Yiddish lesson. Thanks. Okay. If there's no other questions or issues right now on Lyons Road, can we excuse our engineers? Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you so much.